Gunpowder Milkshake, new action film starring Karen Gillan, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh, Paul Giamatti and Angela Bassett. In some countries it was released on Netflix a couple of weeks ago. In other places, including Poland, it had just had a theatrical release. Based on the marketing, it promised to be a fun way of mixing films like John Wick, Atomic Blonde and The Professional. But reality is often disappointing, and this is probably my biggest disappointment all year so far, because of the disparity between how much fun I expected and how terribly boring the movie ended up being. At the beginning, Karen Gillan's character Sam explains to us through a voiceover that there is a secret organization called The Firm, run by shady, powerful men who secretly control society from the shadows. She works as a hitman for them, cleaning up loose ends. As we learn from a flashback, she followed in the footsteps of her mother, who suddenly abandoned her 15 years ago. Sam today is a pretty lonely, dispassionate, cold assassin until one day a simple mission turns into rescuing a little girl. Sam suddenly sees herself in the girl, emotions take over, and she ends up botching the original mission, which leaves the two ladies on the run from the firm, from Russian assassins, gangsters as well, all in a desperate search for allies. So, first things first, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie. There are no more surprises, no fun reveals, no plot twists or turns that would grab you in any way. You have seen the entire film. That unfortunately includes all the funny scenes that work, leaving a lot of humor that doesn't, and all of the best badass moments, save for only one, but I'll get to that. However, even if you went into the movie blind, I fear that it would still be very guilty of the one cardinal sin that especially an action film just cannot allow itself to commit, which is that it's bloody boring. Part of it is that the story isn't anything special, part of it is the writing and the dialogue, which at times is very rough. But I think the biggest problem is the execution, the way that the movie is shot and edited, and especially the way it uses slow motion, and there's a lot of that, I mean a lot. And even the pacing of regular dialogue scenes, all of those things make it seem just sluggish. It's like you're watching an action film on half speed. It's infuriating because you want the film to have this kind of kinetic energy, especially as it kind of taps into the aesthetic of a neon-drenched world, but it just refuses to move forward at a pace faster than that of a snail. I mean, really, it's hard to believe that such a fun and tested premise, coupled with such an amazing cast, can produce such a slog, but here we are. I almost fell asleep a couple of times during this screening. I also have a complaint about the score. A large part of it resembles the sitar-filled score from Sherlock, the TV show from BBC, and it just doesn't fit. It almost feels like the music is also slowing everything down further, just to a crawl. And in the action scenes themselves, when you break them down, when you really think about them, conceptually they're fun, and the choreography isn't even that bad. But because of the poor editing and the constant slow motion, there is once again a lack of energy. To be fair, there is one single sequence, I mentioned that already, where that all worked for me, and the sequence is pretty cool, and that is towards the very end of the film. And if you manage to make it to that point, you will know which one I'm talking about. But to put it simply, it's not worth spending close to 2 hours of your time to see one cool scene, when everything else before that is so awfully sleep-inducing. I'm shocked to see so much potential for a fun, light-hearted popcorn flick be completely wasted.